Oi! Yes! What's going on, everybody? It's Wednesday night. Club and Sub is over. I think the Chronic Combat Conversation guys are over as well right now. So it's time for Ask Weezy with me, your host, Uncle Weezy. What's going on, everybody? So we got UFC Vegas 57 coming up this weekend, headlined by Mateus Gamrot versus Armin Tsarukyan. It is a 12-fight card. We've got a lot of props to talk about. We got a lot of betting lines to talk about, maybe some pieces that we can put together a greasy four-leg parlay with. I wanted to talk about it, though, with you guys because we always do better work when we talk about things together. So I wanted to see who's hanging out in the chat with us today. We got my guy Brandon9801 saying, "Oi!" setting the alarm once again. I am happy that you are joining us, Brandon. Hopefully you're waking up now because I actually just took a nap. Man, it's been a long week already, and just one more show to do after this one this week. It'll be Probability on the MMA Engine YouTube channel with my guy DFS by the Numbers tomorrow night, 7:15 Central Time. So check that one out. But definitely have been working hard this week. It's a good card, but looking forward to not having as much content to do tomorrow, and then none on Friday. Starting to get ready for the next week and starting to get some of this behind the scenes stuff done for the MMA Engine, which is the website is coming soon. So we're really excited about that. We got my guy JSJ23 in the room saying, is it just me or does this week seem extra difficult for DFS? A ton of closely lined fights that could easily get extended. Yeah, I mean, we talked about it today on Pub Sports Radio, myself and Brady and Monk and Gordo. And, I think the mid-range is the secret this week. I think if you can figure out who's going to win that Bordeaux-Parisian fight, it might be a decent scoring fight. The Bays-Durden fight, even the Vieira-Curtis fight is 8,600, 7,600. So there's some decent salaries where you can get to the mid-range options. And then in that way, you don't have to do a stars and scrubs type of situation. And if you do that, and if you stay in that mid-range, I think you can get guys like Shavkat and Umar, and I would say the other one would be TJ Brown. I'm going with Moises because I think it's a safe win for the cash lineup, but it's no more difficult than any other week, I would say. I'm always trying to figure out ways to find the best value that's out there on the slate, but you never know who it's going to wind up being. It's you get your lineup in, and then the fights take place, and they never seem to go exactly like you think they will. We got Mushroom in the room saying, "Oi, yes, how are you, Uncle Weezy? Opa, let's fucking go. Let's go, Opa. Let's go. Let's light that cheese on fire, the Saganaki, and go. It's time for Ask Weezy." Danny Sue saying, "Oi." DFS by the Numbers saying FanDuel waits all week to get props out just to put the Curtis Rodolfo fight doesn't go to decision at -900. Shame. Shame. Ding. Shame. Ding. Shame. Dude, that's awful. -900. At least Bet Online had the class to open it at -675. Yeah, they're telling you that they don't want your money on that bet. They're saying go someplace else or parlay it or whatever, but we're not letting you bet. We're not letting you bet that straight. 9 units to win 1. Unbelievable, man. 4.5 units to win a half unit. That is incredible. I mean, that fight, at that line, you might as well just bet the fight goes, I mean, it's a 185-pound fight. Those fights go to decision like 43%. No, it's actually like 47% of the time, 46. So might as well just bet it and hope for the best. Hell, it happened in a fight that nobody thought would go the distance. It was the Pereira's last fight. Who would have seen that against Bruno Silva? So, yeah, man, that's you never know, dude. And I mean, -900 makes it unbettable. So shame for sure. Danny Sue agrees, and he says, "Get the orange bags out." Yeah, I agree, man. We should get the orange bags out and beat them for putting out -900. That is absolutely ridiculous. And then Juan Chavez saying, "Oi, in the heezy with Uncle Weezy for Sheezy." You got that right, Juan. What's up, dude? It's good to see you in here hanging out. And Danny Sue said, "I got minus 900 too, and I feel like crying." Yeah, it makes it unparlayable and unbettable, so you might as well just pass it up. Mushroom saying, "Uncle Weezy, do you know how Parisian and Bordeaux start the alphabet? O, B, C, D." Oh, my God. Mushroom, you're on fire as always. Danny Sue saying, "Got Manus KO at plus 1,700. Wow. Wow. That's how he wins. Maybe he catches him coming in. And Umar likes to fuck around on the feet a little bit. When I watched the tape on Umar, I was surprised that he wasn't like this guy that just spams takedown attempts. He likes to stand, and he's got very good stand up. Very, very tricky kicks. But if he decides to fuck around there too long, you never know, dude. Nate's got bricks for hands, and he's been dropping dudes. So, but I do expect him to go to that wrestling. But Nate's looked good with the takedown defense thus far. But it's not Umar Nurmagomedov's takedowns that he's been stopping. So we'll see how it all goes. But at plus 1,700, it's worth a sprinkle. You can go a tenth of a unit and win 1.7. So nothing wrong with that. We got Bob Spikerman saying, "Let's get it, brothers. Let's get it, Bob. What's up, dude? Thanks for joining us." We got Charles Smith. I'm betting JP Bays because his woman ran off on him, and I can relate. Ugh, that's not good that you can relate to that, Charles. That's rough, man, when that happens. And I feel bad for him, and and the whole situation being public makes it 10 times worse. And then those dicks trying to put him on the same card with Roman Dolidze. That was unbelievable. I'm glad they're not fighting on the same card. And, hopefully JP, can kind of come back here and get people to forget about that part of his life and get people to remember that he's a really talented fighter. We'll see how it all goes. I'm picking Durden in that spot. I think they're really well matched. I think it's a great fight for DraftKings for sure. I think it'll be very high volume. Both of these guys allow a ton of points when they fight, and they're in high volume fights. So I think it's going to be a very exciting flyweight fight. I'm really looking forward to that one. Jesse's saying, "Oi, what's up, Jesse?" And we got Jeremiah saying, "How we doing, Weezy?" I'm doing good, Jeremiah. I hope you're feeling good over there, brother. Good to see you hanging out in here like always. And we got the Prince of Mischief in the room saying, "Oi, wishing you the best this week, Uncle Weezy and everyone. From reverse sweep to shaving the bookie's ass. Let's fucking go. Let's get it, dude." Yeah. These things, they do happen. You certainly don't want them happening more than once a year. But it happened to me once this year. Hopefully it never happens again. And I just want to get back on that streak of just stacking the winning events like flapjacks. A unit and a half, 2 units, a unit, 3 units, and just keep building it. Keep building it. Don't try to get it all back at once. Just going to try to make good bets going forward. And, let the data and the tape study guide me and try to find the spots that are underpriced to buy and try to find the prices that are overpriced. Leave them alone. Let somebody else take that action. Kind of like the big women's favorites last week. One of the things I said I was going to do was just leave them alone. Those low-level mixed martial arts fights, I'm taking the dog or I'm passing on them. And I think it's been working ever since Corey McKenna. I've been scarred. You just can't, even when, there's like, if the fighter just has like even a little bit of fight IQ, it should be enough. And then they prove that they literally have 0 fight IQ. And for some reason, it's the women's fights. It's like they show up looking like a world beater 1 month, and then 3 months later they come out and they look like they never even knew what the hell they were doing in the first place. So I've been avoiding getting shaved on women's mixed martial arts, which a lot of people are, and that's prevented from making it worse. So I think it's a good thing to kind of always have those, whatever your betting Bible is, whatever you say, if I'm going to fade fighters with bad conditioning, or I'm going to never bet lay juice on fighters that have shit fight IQ, guys like Jimmy Crute or Brendan Allen, TJ Brown, even, who I made my ass shaving of the week, is showing some really shitty fight IQ at times. So You want to see that you're learning the lessons that cost you money, and you learn from them and you don't repeat them. And I think I'm doing that, but there's a lot of lessons to learn, and then you have to also make that differentiation from when you're making good bets and things just didn't go your way, and when you talked yourself into something or bet something too big that was just not a smart play. So yeah, got to be honest with yourself, whether you win or you lose, move forward and learn from it. Charles Smith saying, press the like button. What's up, Charles? We appreciate you. Thank you for saying that, man. We got HD Tube saying, LOL, I think JP is a goofball. If you follow his Insta, he's always posting corny shit. Yeah, I don't, that's one thing. I don't have an Instagram account, so I'm never on Instagram doing the stalking that people do. I kind of let other people do that. And I try to focus on the tape study and on the numbers. But yeah, I mean, because like I feel like the narratives can get a little bit carried away sometimes. But yeah, I mean, hopefully JP where is he? Is he over at Fortis, or is it? I'm trying to remember if it's him that's at Fortis now. I think he has been for a minute. Pepe Sylvia in the room. What's up, Pepe? Good to see you. I bet Pereira versus Bruno Silva goes to decision. Love a good sweat. Any Bellator spots sinking in your canines this weekend? Pepe, I have no idea what's going on with Bellator at all, dude. When you're doing shows 6 days a week like my dumb ass does, I don't have time to look at anything else but the UFC. Got to talk to like Luke and those guys, man. They know what's going on with the Bellator. They're always going around and making bets on all the other organizations. I'm just trying to focus on the UFC. But if you know of any, let your Uncle Weezy know, Pepe. I'd appreciate it, man. My guy Monk in the room, who was just over with Lou Betcha on the Chronic Combat Conversations show, saying, Weezy, what's up, brother? What's up, chat? What's up, Monk? It's good to see you in here, brother. We got Effie from Any Action Sportscast saying, Oi! What's up, Effie? We got Mr. Jingle saying, greasy four-legger ready. I'm going to do a small video when I am ready. I guess FanDuel just got the props out, according to Brady. So maybe I'll share my screen with you guys here and bring up the betting lines. I've also got the prop template up here. So if you guys got any questions about over-unders, 2.5s, 1.5s, fight goes, fight doesn't go for any of the 12 fights on this card, I've got all the lines in there, the implied probabilities that correspond with those lines. I got the divisional finish rates for every weight class, the decision rate, the under 2.5, the under 1.5, and I have each fighter's wins, losses, combined wins and losses at the overall and also in the UFC. And I've got the combined two fighters as well here in the bottom row. And we add up the fighters' stats here. So we can see, for instance, for Buys Durden, we've got JP Buys 8 of 9 wins coming inside the distance. For Durden, 10 of 12. So we add that up, and it's 18 of 21, 85.7%. That's 46% better than the divisional finish rate of 39.82%. And it's 40% better than the implied probability of the line to not go to decision, which is 45.45%. So I have all these calculations and all these numbers built into the prop template here. So if you have any questions about over-unders, we can go through any of the fights that you got questions on here. I've got that information up. I've got the matchup stats for each of the 12 fights. And as always, you can download the matchup stats for free in the link. With the link to it is in the description of the video. The greasy four-legger, the spots that I'm looking at are going to be the Tafon and Chukwi money line. I'm going to be looking at potentially Gamrot Tsarukyan fight doesn't go to decision. I like Rakhmonov inside the distance. I like TJ Brown inside the distance. I kind of like the Morozov money line here. I like Buys Durden not to go to decision. I like Jinyu Fry by decision. Let me see. I like Curtis Vieira not to go to decision, but we're not parlaying minus 900. I do like Thiago Moises quite a bit to win in this spot, actually. And I like Mushroom says, I like Bordeaux Parisian to probably end in diabetes. But other than those are the greasy four-legger spots that I'm looking at right now. But I'm going to put it all together probably tomorrow afternoon before probability, and I'll drop a little video on my channel. It won't be live or anything. I'll just do a little 5-minute video explaining why I picked these 4 spots, show you what it comes out to and where I did it. So thank you for bringing that up, Mr. Jingles. Appreciate you. My guy Jester's in the room saying, Weezy, say your number. What number? My number? What number is that? I don't know. You'll have to let me know, Jester. What's up, though, dude? Good to see you in here. I know you're always hanging out, brother. Bob Spikerman saying, big fan of your work, Weezy. You, DFS, and Clint are fucking legendary, boss, man. I appreciate that, dude. I appreciate that you're out here hanging out on your Wednesday night, spending your time with your Uncle Weezy, talking fights, man. That's what I come on YouTube to do. We got a great community. I love the people that watch my shows. Everybody's so nice. Everybody is nice to each other in the chat. We're positive here, and we try to make money off of these bookies. We got Stretch in the room saying, better chance to win this weekend, JP Bays or Gamrot? I think JP Bays got a much better chance to win. Just based on the odds, JP Bays is sitting here at about maybe like a 54% chance to win, while for Gamrot, it's like maybe a 30% chance to win. But Gamrot is a very, very talented fighter, but Tsarukyan might be the best fighter on the card. I mean, Umar and Shavkat are on the card, and they're both incredible talents. But you know, Arman Tsarukyan in the lightweight division is a serious problem, and he's fighting a very well-rounded, very tough guy in Mateus Gamrot, and it's a 5-round fight. And we know Mateus has, been in those 5-round fights before, but I don't think Arman has. So I'm really looking forward to see how Arman performs under the bright lights as a headliner, main event slot in a 5-round fight. But I'm picking him to win. And I love, even though when you look at the numbers, everything's very close. The striking is close. The grappling is close. The strength of schedule is close. Their ages and size are close. Their experience is close. But when you take out that Islam Makhachev fight and you dive deep into the numbers, I think the biggest thing that you see is that Arman Tsarukyan is a master of using control time positions to win minutes of fights, and also to potentially win moments of fights by landing big ground and pound elbows that can open up a guy like he did to Alvarez and get a stoppage due to just the massive amount of blood that comes out. So, this is, I think Bays is a lot more live because Durden is a fighter that's really very much on his level. I think they have very similar skill sets, and then they're at similar points in their career experience-wise, age-wise, even though JP's younger. And, they both have really good wrestling backgrounds, which is a great base for mixed martial arts. So I think that's going to be a much closer fight. I do think that Tsarukyan is just a notch above Gamrot. And Bob saying, appreciate you guys. Appreciate that. My guy Dan Hamilton's in the room saying Shavkat inside the distance. Couldn't agree more, Dan. That's going to be one of the parlay pieces for sure for the greasy 4-legger this week. I think it's safe to say that in Chukwi, money line, and that Shavkat inside the distance will be 2 of the spots. And then I'm going to try to figure out these last 2 as well. But you guys can absolutely help me with that. Jester saying my feed is so slow. Yeah, I mean, sometimes that happens, dude. But my internet here is I think it's my computer actually that's pretty shitty. And Jester saying at Dan 100. And HD Tube saying Shavkat inside the distance and Umar inside the distance haven't moved at all in my book. I thought they would get smashed. They still might. They still might. But the thing about Umar inside the distance is there's just no value on it. And even the Shavkat one, you're paying juice for it, and it's against a very good fighter. So I think a lot of people, I mean, me included, when fights get up to like -400, -500 for the favorite, I'm usually looking at ways to make money on the dog, or I'm just staying away from the fight, which means almost all the damn time I'm staying away from the fight. So, But this week, I mean, Rachmanov is just such a talented moment winner, and Magny is a guy that you can absolutely finish. So I can see the Shavkat inside the distance moving just a little bit more, maybe, but Umar, he's already so wide. Jester saying I'm also on Cody 1,000%. Yeah, we were doing the DraftKings show earlier, and Sean V was in the chat saying that he couldn't believe I was on Cody, that he thought JP Bays was just going to murder this dude, and I'm like, Cody's not that bad. He got a win over Aori Quileng. Quileng's a really solid fighter, So and we haven't really seen Bays go out there and be like this world beater. Got his ass shaved up, but it was up a division. I mean, I don't even count that fight against Montel Jackson. He shouldn't have even been in there against that dude. Up a weight class, short notice. It was a bad fight for him. But, Bruno Silva knocked him down. Like, there were 3 official knockdowns, but I think he knocked him down 5 times in that fight. So, this is a guy who can, he's chinny. He gets dropped a ton. And the conditioning to push a wrestling heavy game plan for 15 minutes just isn't there for Bays. So when somebody is that vulnerable to getting touched on the feet and he doesn't have the conditioning to push the pace for the full 15 minutes, I think Cody Durden is very live in this spot. And I think Cody's pretty good all around. Like I say, I think that line is pretty fair. I mean, I think they have a very similar skill set here. I'm leaning Cody, but I'm certainly, I might get to the window for a small bet on Cody here, but it's not something that I'm screaming from the rooftops or anything like that. A lot of submissions on this card, potentially. Yes, Hyena, I agree with you. We were talking about that. Kelleher Batista could be a submission. If Vanessa finds Jinyu Fry in a good spot, she could submit her. Durden Buys absolutely could be a submission. TJ Brown could submit Shailan. Morozov Paiva potentially. Not Ulberg and Chukwi. Vieira could submit Curtis. Nurmagomedov could submit Manus. Moises could submit Yagos. No submission here other than me tapping out from it being such a bad fight. And then we got Rachmanov can get a submission, and could either one of these guys could get a submission. They're both such talented submission grapplers. Yeah. Hyena saying Gamrot via sub, Rodolfo via sub, Shavkat, and the list goes on. Yeah, man. Are going to get B. Ice Viking say, hey, Weezy, thanks for helping us navigate some tricky inflated lines here. We appreciate your hard work as always. I appreciate you for always hanging out, Ice Viking. Much love to you, brother. Hyena saying Umar via sub. Yeah, man. He gets that rear naked choke. He gets to the definitely he gets to people's backs, and that's the best way to finish people is, the rear naked choke never goes out of style in mixed martial arts. So it's one of the best ways to finish, and Umar has quite a few of them on his resume. Payback from last card, says Jester, and Umar is not the play. I mean, it's just too wide for me. I think Umar wins the fight, but if I'm betting on the fight, I'm looking to get like plus 1,700 on Manus by KO. That way I've only got a tenth of a unit down to win 1.7 instead of like having to put down 9 units to win 1. I mean, it's just craziness. So, that's the way I would do it. It's just too wide. The implied probability is too crazy. Bob Spikerman saying Bruno Blindado Silva. Blindado means armored. No kidding. I didn't know that, dude. That I was wondering what the hell Blindado meant. And Kiwi's in the room saying, sure, all. What's up, Kiwi? Good to see you in here. Thanks for hanging out. My guy, the General in here. What's up, General? Jester saying Cody Lock live bet him after the first. Yeah, dude, that's not a bad call to live bet after the first, Jester, because JP Bays is a former like Olympic hopeful wrestler from South Africa, and a wrestling match is 7 minutes. So these guys that come from high level competitive wrestling and then go to the UFC from there, oftentimes they have trouble converting their game from a wrestling game plan and a wrestling conditioning necessity to moving that to putting your mixed martial arts skill set together for a full 15 minutes instead of just 7 minutes. Because once you get used to wrestling and wrestling with the urgency of it being in a competitive 7-minute match against another high-level wrestler, you kind of get used to not leaving anything on the table. Every scramble, every takedown attempt, every underhook that you try to get while your opponent's shooting on you, every sprawl is life or death. And if you fight like that in the cage, you're not gonna last more than 5 minutes. So I think Cody's done a little bit better job pacing himself when he offensively wrestles, but we'll see. We'll see how that all goes. David Dennett saying this main card is nuts. I can't help the feeling that Magny disrespect is too real. Last time he was finished inside 3 rounds was 2017 by RDA via arm triangle. How does fight starts round 3 look? Fight starts round 3 for Magny Rakhmonov. Okay, so we're looking at a minus 120 line there, right? And if we were to look at minus 120, let's just 54%. Well, 54% fight starting round 3. And like over 1.5 is about so this is going to be from Magny, so we got to look at 170. Magny, so fights start round, let's see, under 2.5 happens 44% of the time. But I would have to go and look at my fights database to actually see what fight starts round 2, fight starts round 3. I might have to update the database and kind of like use this area here a little bit better and maybe just allow for more bets like the over 2.5, the under 2.5, the over 1.5, the under 1.5. Fight starts round 2. Fight doesn't start round 2. Fight starts round 3. Fight doesn't start round 3, and then fight goes, fight doesn't go. If I can update the because I have all the analytics, I could go to the 2021 UFC fights database. So I'll get you that number for fight starts round 3 for 170-pound fights. So let's see here. So 170-pound fights that go 3 rounds. I've got them all right here, you guys. We're going to Control C, and then what I'm going to do is just add some place to sort them. We'll paste it in there. Okay, now we are going to sort and filter by column F and then column G. Smallest to largest, add level. Column G, smallest to largest, okay. And now we can take a look and see here. For instance, we can just take a look and see how many fights there are in the first place. And it's showing us 636 fights. And then fights starting round 3. So that's 258 out of 636. So, oh God, calculator now. So we're going to take 636 minus 258 divided by 656. So about 57.5% of these fights have started round 3. If 656 was the right, 636. Son of a bitch. All right, wait. All right, so here, let's just do this. Fight starts round 3. So it's going to be 378 divided by 636. So that's 59.5%. So at 59.5%, we're looking at like minus 150. So, yeah, minus 150. And we are looking at that line. Fight starts round 3 at minus 120. Fuck. That's not, I mean, you're getting a little bit of a discount. You're maybe getting like 7% discount there, David. If that's your read, if you think this thing does go to the third round, they're not really paying you that well because they're considering that this fight finishes inside the distance almost 66% of the time. So, I mean, if that's your read, it's not bad. I just feel, plus 100 would be a lot better. Minus 108 would be a lot better. So those are some numbers that look a lot better. If you can get it at plus money, David, and that's your read, I think that's a decent bet. That way you're getting, you're looking at about a 9.5% edge over the books. And if you think that Magny, isn't getting finished in 3-round fights, which is the truth, it's not a bad look. But Shavkat, dude, he's such a good moment winner. And it's hard to see him not finding a submission or a big shot at some point in this fight. But Magny is an ultra veteran and a super good fighter. So, yeah, thanks for the question, David. I think it makes a little bit of sense if that's what your read is. Bob Spikerman saying, I like Durden versus Buys not to go to decision, and then Chukwi Albert over 1.5, and Rachmanov not to go to decision. I like all those, Bob. I think those are all good spots. The Durden Bays fight, like we mentioned in the prop template, let's see, Durden Bays is over here. 24 of their 30 combined fights have finished inside the distance. That's 80%. So we're paying at plus 120, only a 45% implied probability. And 5 of their 8 UFC fights combined have finished inside the distance, and 4 of their 5 losses. So neither one of them has shown a ton of durability yet. So I think that's a very good thing. And that Montel Jackson fight, I feel like could have been stopped. It could have been all 5. Because he got knocked down 4 times, JP Bays did there. And I think if Montel ever just turned up the gas and even tried to finish it, he could have. But he was a little bit aloof there. But, yeah, I like all those spots. I think they're all pretty good. Paul Wesley saying, please talk a little bit about Durden Buys doesn't go to decision. Yeah, so the doesn't go to decision, if we can find it better than plus 120, let me just make sure that that's what the line still is, you guys. Fight doesn't go to decision. Yeah, see, now it's moved. The best that we can find is plus 100. So there's definitely been some line movement there. But even so, even at plus 100, which is a 50% implied probability, we're only overpaying by 10% based on the divisional finish rate, which is 39.82%. But we're actually still underpaying on the line by 12.5% just based on 5 of these guys' 8 fights finishing inside the distance at the UFC level, and still 30% underpaying based on 80% of their combined pro fights finishing inside the distance. So I do like this line. I think the under 2.5 is still sitting up around plus 120, plus 127. That could be a good spot as well, because it's not like these guys are getting finished, late in the third round. They're getting finished early in fights. So maybe get a little bit of extra value if the under 2.5 hasn't moved yet to catch up with that plus 100 for the fight doesn't go. But Paul, I think that that's a really good fight. JP Bay's conditioning has not been great. So I think that that's another reason to like that fight finishing inside the distance. You've missed a little bit of line movement already, but still, these guys are scrappers, and they're both really good finishers, and neither one of them has shown a lot of durability yet. So I love that bet. Bob saying, I live in Amsterdam, and it's 6 a.m. here. Wow, you get up way earlier than me, Bob, or you stay up way later than I do. But I salute you, my friend, for watching at that crazy hour of the morning. Yeah, 6 a.m. for you in Austria, Paul. Wow, you guys are dedicated watching your Uncle Weezy at that hour of the morning. What do I think of a late finish there, Weezy? You're talking about the JP Buys fight. I think it's probably a little bit more likely to come early in the fight. Here, let's take a look. Cody Durden. Let's see how many fights of his have finished in the third round. Round one, round one, round one, round one, round two, round one, round one, 456 round three with the win over Todd Monroe, and then round one, round two, round one, round one, round one. So definitely a lot of round ones. Only one round three finish for or against for JP or for Durden, and for JP Buys. Round two, round one, 4 minutes of round four, round three, round one, round two, round one, round one, round one, round one. So of the 3 round fights, it looks like they've all finished in rounds 1 or 2, except for one of them. And then the win over Luthando Biko, which had to have been a title fight in EFC, was a 4th round finish. And this Gazmat Magomedov, he got a 3rd round win in Brave. Pretty good organization there. This Magomedov is 6-1. Wow, his only loss is against JP Buys, this guy Magomedov. You got any decent wins? Got some wins in Brave, so that's not bad. It's a good organization. But yeah, I mean, I think that it could be a late finish, but I probably would say it will be round 1 or 2. Most of these guys' finishes have been in those in those rounds. Jester saying, number was my donation, bro. Call it, my guy. Oh, dude, how about 10? How about 10? It's like to 100. And I got to thank Tajik Bey again. The guy donated $100 to my show last night on Just the Tip. And he does this to so many different shows, so many content creators across the web. And I've got my donators here, my guys like Frank Carrillo and Victor De Jesus and Andy MG and I mean all of these guys who've been donating my show, Gogo Flamingo and Zero Miedo, and I mean I'm probably gonna forget some, and I'll feel like a dick for forgetting the ones that that have donated as well. But I appreciate each and every one of you guys, and thank you for donating to the show when you do. Chronic Combat Conversation saying Tsarukyan Rachmanov parlay. Yeah, man, I don't hate that at all. I mean, I love Rachmanov in this spot. I love Tsarukyan in this spot. They're 2 of the best fighters in the entire UFC. 2 of the best young fighters, I should say, is Tsarukyan's in his 20. I think they're both 27 years old, is it? Rachmanov is 27 and Tsarukyan is 25. This kid is only 25 years old. My God, is the future bright for Arman Tsarukyan. I love it, Chronic Combat Conversations. I think that's a great parlay. Hyena95 saying, damn, you're a diehard MMA fan. Yeah, dude, you know, I mean, we got some diehards in this room for sure, man. Alex Ramirez saying, press the like button. We got, oh boy. Okay, wait. All right. Hyena saying 6 a.m. Speed up your chat to a.m. Let me see. Bob saying Hyena for sure, but I work up until 2 a.m. So I'm always up late. Got it. Jesse saying, so my local casino book only does a single over under per fight and money lines. If Neil Shavkat is set at 1.5, would you go over or under? I'd probably bet the over, just because you know Magny has been finished, but you know it was on the ground, and Shavkat's going to be tough to take him down. Yeah, I would probably go with the over in that one. But boy, it's a sweat. HD2 was saying I got Shavkat inside the distance at -140 and Umar inside the distance -150. Yeah, I like both of those. I missed out on Shavkat inside the distance earlier at like -130 or -120. Bob saying I think JP Buys sucks. Yeah, I mean we'll find out, dude. I'm picking Durden, but Buys, has lost to Bruno Silva and Montel Jackson, and I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I realize how talented both of those guys were, and in particular, Montel Jackson's not even in the same weight class as JP Bays, and you know what I mean. So hopefully he doesn't suck. Hopefully he deserves to be here, and they have an awesome fight. But I'm picking Durden. I'm with you that I think Durden wins. Yeah, no chin is right. He does get dropped all the damn time. Only have one worry, and that is JP will be extra motivated because of the Dolidze situation. We got MMA Code in the room saying, oi! And we got Mushroom saying Durden will win. Bays has been losing things lately to guys whose last name starts with the letter T. Dude, Mushroom is on fire. Oh, God. Bob saying, huge Bruno Blindado Silva fan here. Yeah, me too, Bob. Me too. I'm a big fan of that dude. He is so much fun to watch. Actually had the balls to bet him versus Alex Pereira, knowing it was a simp bet. Sometimes we do that, though, but at least you got a good amount of plus money there because Pereira is, you know, like he's like the darling right now of the UFC. And I actually think it's kind of silly that fight is 50-50 with him and Strickland. It's not a kickboxing match. It's a mixed martial arts fight. And, you know, people are like, oh, you know, he won't be able to handle the kickboxing of Pereira. Well, what did he do to Uriah Hall? Uriah Hall is a very talented kickboxer who's also a great mixed martial artist. Pereira is just a pure kickboxer. So I think that line is very disrespectful to Sean Strickland, and I think I'll be betting him here around -110, -120, knowing that everybody loves Alex Pereira. And I'll just be hoping, even though I won't be confident, that Sean Strickland actually wrestles. But I think Sean's going to just put his balls in the wheelbarrow and just say, I think I can beat you standing. It wouldn't surprise me if that's what Sean did. So we'll see. But that's a great fucking fight. I can't wait for it, man. Pereira against Strickland is going to be so much fun. And I mean, I look forward to Blindado Silva against Pereira, man. Bob Spikerman saying Bay's also fucking quitting, brothers. Yeah, I mean, he's been finishing 3 of his 4 losses. And Bob saying, I wanted to lay the smackdown on Shavkat fight doesn't go to decision, but remembering the Kamaya versus Burns fight. Yup, there you go, man. It's so true. And then ring-a-ding-ding, we got the first donation of the night. My guy Bob with €5, sending it to his Uncle Weezy. Much love to you, Bob. Thank you for supporting the show. I appreciate you. I appreciate you being up at 6 o'clock in the morning to talk MMA with us, man. I really appreciate you. And we got Wayne Spurlock in the room saying, I think I'm the only one picking Gamrot in the world. Yeah, I mean, it's okay, though, man. Dude, Gamrot's an awesome fighter. And he's very live here, you know, and we're going to find out how good Tsarukyan is now that he's going to be sharing the cage with somebody like Gamrot. We've seen him in there with somebody like Makhachev a while ago, and Gamrot's a great grappler. But I think the reason that all the love is on Tsarukyan is that Tsarukyan's already faced some really good, you know, mixed martial arts grapplers like Olivier Aubin-Mercier, like the fight after that was against Davy Ramos. You know, he's facing some guys that have got some serious grappling pedigree here. I mean, even Frivola is a really good wrestler, and Joel Alvarez is a guy who went into that fight with 18 wins by submission. So I think that's why people are pretty confident. You know, you see a name like Gamrot and you think, man, can Gamrot be that much better than Davy Ramos on the ground? You know, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion. Can he be that much better than Mercier, than Frivola, than Alvarez? And I think that's why this line is getting so steamed. But I think it's disrespectful to Mateos for sure. And Bob saying at Wayne, I'm not sure if I'm picking him, but I'm betting him for sure 1,000%. Yeah, man, you don't have to pick him to bet him. You could just say, look, the line's too wide. You know, the line's saying he wins it 3 out of 10 times. I think he wins it 4.5 out of 10 times. So that you don't have to think somebody's going to win it to bet it. You just have to think the line is off. And Bob's saying, let's hope it's only us so we can play him at plus 300. And hey, by fight time, it might be. It might be because these favorites that are already big favorites, they just get juiced as the day goes on, as people start to chase and parlay. So yeah, man, just wait. If you're on Gamrot, just wait. I will also hammer the Nchukwi money line. Yeah, I'm in on 1.5 units on the Nchukwi money line. I think I got him at -103. I didn't like what I saw from Alberg when he was being pressured by Kennedy and Chekwu. And I know that Tafan's going to walk forward. That's what he does. And he's got the same length, reach as actually Ulberg does. And I think he's going to be much stronger and much better in the clinch. And I think he can potentially get takedowns here. So if he can do all those three things, pressure, put him on the cage and win some minutes in the clinch, and even get a takedown or two, I think he's really live to win this fight. Bob saying already did Vor at plus 110. That's not bad. Hyena saying that, Bob, Shavkat is like one fucking hook kick and perfect ground and pound later. Yeah, dude, his ground and pound is laser focused, and it's so dangerous. He's finished so many fights with that ground and pound. Wayne saying, Gamrot is good. This reminds me of the Petrosky versus Maximov fight. I had money on Petrosky in that fight, man. I had a unit on him at plus 285, and it wound up going to plus 370. That's how out of line that line got. It was crazy. My guy Clint is in the room. What's up, Weezy? What's up, Clint? Good to see you in here, man. We got to make some money this weekend, dude. We got to stack some cash tickets like flapjacks and then just drown them in syrup and butter. Let's get it, Clint. Good to see you in here hanging out. Hyena saying Shavkat precision is so precise. He finishes fights like it was another day at the office. Every damn time he finishes fights. A spectacular moment winner. Austin G saying, oh man, I meant Gamrot Armin. Yeah, we got you. And then Effie saying it's 9 here in Vegas. So cool. We have people from around the world in the chat talking MMA. Damn right it is. That's the great thing about MMA. It is truly an international sport. I mean, there are so many countries that I didn't even know existed that now I know where they're fighters, like countries like, Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan and Tajikistan and all these stands, like the Central Asia region right now is budding with a lot of talent, and it's bringing a spotlight to that part of the world for people like us who watch MMA. Mushroom saying at Clint, Clint is Maximus in the house. What's up, Clint? And then Austin saying, oh, geez, you won't see it for a bit, Willie. Yeah, I won't, dude. I'm a little bit behind. Yeah, Labyrinth saying Armin going to stop him early. Yeah, I mean, he might, dude. I'm betting the fight doesn't go to decision there. I'm just waiting to see where the line goes. And he's saying what's up to Mushroom is Clint, and just locked in the Paiva Morozov under 2.5. So let's have a look at that bet. Paiva Morozov, we've got 18 of their 38 combined wins have finished inside the distance. It's just under 50%, but 8 of 10 combined losses. That we love to see for any kind of a violence bet. 5 of 6 losses inside the distance for Morozov. 3 of 4 inside the distance for Paiva. So we've got 54.2% of their combined fights have finished inside the distance. And at the UFC level, it's 5 of 10. So at the under 2.5, hopefully you got plus money on it. I don't know where it's sitting right now. This is where it was yesterday, I believe. Under 2.5. Oh, nice plus money. Plus 135, plus 140, plus 125. You get that. That's a 44% implied probability. And we know that 43.12% of fights at the 135-pound weight class, Clint, that are 3 rounds have finished under 2.5 rounds, 191 out of 443 times. That's 43.12%. You only paid 44, and we've got guys whose losses have come inside the distance 4 out of 5 times at the UFC level. I think it's a good bet. Hope you cash that one, man. Bob saying you deserve the donations, man, for the work you put in. I appreciate that, dude. And I do work hard, but it wouldn't be the same without you guys here. And the fact that I get to talk with you guys makes it not really work. It makes it just a fun thing for me to do. So I enjoy the shit out of talking with you guys. Rusty saying, sorry, just hopped on. What do you think about the over 1.5 for Ulberg Tafan? I like the over 1.5 for that fight. So the over 1.5 one, the last I saw was minus 160. That's 61.54%. And only 54% of 205-pound 3-round fights go over 1.5. So 54%, and we're paying 61%. So it's a little bit overpriced. However, these guys' fights have only finished inside the distance 4 of 8 times. And I know that one of those is a contender series fight for Tafan when he beat Al Matavo. And the other one is a Carlos Ulberg. So if we take out the contender series fights against lower level competition, it's only 2 of 6 of their UFC level fights that have finished inside the distance. So I don't mind overpaying, but minus 160 is just a little bit juiced for me. I'd like to see that come in a little bit, but if it did, I think it's a good look. And my guy Hammer and Hog in the room saying, yo. And Roshwan Yi saying, Rodolfo the Dark Horse, that was sub. Yeah, that's his path here. That's his path. I don't think he lasts 3 rounds with the action, man, unless he gets a takedown in every round and Chris Curtis can't get up. If that doesn't happen, I think at some point that left hand is going to find Rodolfo's chin, and the action man's going to have his hand raised for the 3rd consecutive time in the UFC. Rusty saying JP Bays may surprise everyone. His wrestling is better. Gas tank okay. Durden ain't dropping him. Yeah, he's probably not going to drop him. I mean, he's not the same type of striker that Montel Jackson and Bruno Silva is. But, Cody can fucking wrestle too. So I think that's the thing, is that people think that JP Bay's wrestling is way better than Cody's. I don't think it's going to be that much better than Cody's. And Cody's gas tank is pretty good too. So we'll see. It's going to be a great fight, a really competitive fight. And Durden gets subbed in gases. Why is he the favorite? The last I saw, JP Bays was the favorite. Yeah, JP Bays is the favorite. So, don't forget, I mean, Durden's got a really good win at the UFC level. I mean, JP Bays doesn't. So that's very meaningful, and Cody's the more experienced fighter too. Bob saying Durden kind of destroyed Gutierrez in round 1 and short notice debut up a weight class as well. And that's another thing, dude. He went full 3 with Chris Gutierrez, and Chris Gutierrez is undefeated in the UFC. The only blemish on his record is that draw to Durden. And like Bob says, Durden took that fight on short notice, and it was at 135, not 125. So yeah, Durden's live here, dude. Durden's live. There's a lot of people that have been talking shit about both those guys, and I think that this fight, the Durden Bays fight, is going to be a lot better than everyone thinks it is. And I think that the guys that are on Durden are going to find out that Bays is a lot better than they thought he was. And the guys that are on Buys are going to find out that Durden's a lot better than they thought they were. So it's going to be a good fight, man. Rusty saying he got Gutierrez down with the trip and did nothing with a back take for over 3 minutes. Yes, but he stayed on his back for the entire round. And that's why he got that 10-8. He wasn't landing any strikes, and he was never really even close to getting a choke in. But he had his back for like 4 or 4.5 minutes. So he got the 10-8 round. But I wouldn't have had any problem if they just gave that fight to Gutierrez and they said, yeah, we're giving Durden round 1, but it's not a 10-8. So definitely see what you're saying, Rusty. Then gasses and loses the next 2. Yes, on short notice, up a weight class to a far, far superior striker. My guy Kiwi, ring-a-ding-ding with the donation, $10, saying appreciate your work. I appreciate you, Kiwi. Thanks for supporting your Uncle Weezy. Thanks for supporting the show. Thanks for supporting the channel and supporting all the work that we do. And remember, all these stats are all free in the link of the description. And Austin G saying, I'm really tempted to sprinkle Arman in round 4 and 5. I don't think it's a bad look at all, man. I do think Arman has got a good chance to finish Gamrot. And I think that if Arman makes any mistakes, Gamrot's going to be live to finish him. I'm looking at that fight doesn't go to decision at minus 120, because when I sorted the 5-round fights at the 150-pound division, 155-pound division, that is, they're finishing inside the distance 72% of the time. That's like a minus 280 line that we're getting for minus 120. And both of those guys are really good finishers. Bob saying, I will throw something on Shavkat. Fight doesn't go to decision, and maybe a small choke slam or something. Not bad, dude. Prince of Mischief saying, Magny getting dropped in round 1 against Max Payne gives me confidence that his chin will fail against Shavkat. By the way, Shavkat inside the distance is still minus 135 on DraftKings. Not bad, dude. I'd like to see where it is on FanDuel. Bob saying, I think Kutateladze last week made Gamrot look crazy good, my brothers. Yeah, I mean, dude, yeah. He did. Kutateladze is the real deal. And Gamrot, I thought, won that fight. But he did wrestle for the full 3 rounds, finished very strong and pushed a pace that, was exhausting in that fight. And Kutateladze, every time he got taken down, was very active with submissions off of his back. And then when those didn't lock up, he was getting right back up. So, yeah, it was a great fight. Rusty saying, Arman wins this 9 out of 10 times. Elite striking, grappling, wrestling, and cardio. Gamrot is good, but the striking is stiff. Wrestling is European. Gas tank when pressured with wrestling is not great. Yeah, we're going to find out about the gas tank for both of these guys because this is going to be an exhausting fight. Both of these guys are very, very they both pressure and they both push a very exhausting game plan, and they use their gas tank as a weapon. But both of these guys are conditioned so well that we're going to really find out when both of these guys are pushing that pace under the bright lights in a 5-round fight, which one of these dudes is the more well-conditioned athlete. And I can't wait to find out who. I'm thinking Tsarukyan, but Tsarukyan's had some problems making weight, you guys. And if he looks bad on the scale, it's going to be difficult because Mateus has been there before, and he's done these 5-round fights before. So we're going to find out about conditioning on Saturday for sure. I feel you on all those things, says Bob. Mushroom saying, any thoughts on a Demopoulos third decision, Moises third decision, Batista, Kelleher under 2.5, Nurmagomedov sub plus 40-40. So 40-1. Demopoulos third decision. Shit, man, I think she can get a submission in any round. I think it's probably even more likely that she gets the submission in the first or second round. Moises, I'm very confident in. Probably my second most confident pick of the week behind TJ Brown. Batista, Kelleher, both of those guys are getting finished quite a bit. Batista's been finished in both of his pro losses and both of them at the UFC level. And Kelleher's been finished, I believe, in more than half of his. We can look at the prop template, actually, and find out. Yeah, 10 of these guys, 15 career losses are inside the distance. That's 66%. And 6 of 8 at the UFC level inside the distance. That's 75%. So, yeah, just for the fight doesn't go at minus 120, we're still getting an 8.6% edge over the books there because 12 of their 19 combined UFC fights finish inside the distance. That's 63%. That's better than the 54% that we're paying, and it's way better than the divisional finish rate of 49%. So, yeah, I like Kelleher under 2.5. I like the Nurmagomedov. I would rather go inside the distance rather than sub, but I think the more likely is the sub by rear naked choke rather than the knockout. Moises' third decision I like. The Demopoulos third decision, I don't see Demopoulos winning a decision against Jin Yu Fry. I really don't. I see her winning inside the distance or not at all. Her striking isn't good. She can't wrestle and get the fight to the ground and win minutes there. She's going to be at a reach disadvantage and a striking skill disadvantage, probably a speed disadvantage too. So, yeah, I don't like the Demopoulos as much, but it's 40-1. So, I mean, it's hard to find parlays at 40-1 where you're going to like every leg. That's for sure. Santa saying, Shavkat says he does not plan to finish, but will capitalize on a mistake. Do you think the fight goes to decision bet is in order? I don't care what people say. I don't ever listen to what people say. Shavkat is a moment winner, not a minute winner. If he lets this go to decision, I think he's in jeopardy of losing the fight. What Shavkat does best is capitalize on mistakes and finish fights when he capitalizes on mistakes. So I would not be betting a fight goes to decision for this one. Let's just look at the numbers though, because Magny's fights go to decision quite a bit. I mean, just at the UFC level, his fights have went to decision 11 of 25 times, or I'm sorry, 14 of 25 times. But it's 0 of 3 for Shavkat. He's fighting a guy that in all 15 of his fights, none of them have seen the scorecard. So you got a killer fighting here. And to bet fight goes to decision, what you're saying is, I think that this fight goes to decision for the very first time in Shavkat's career. And Neil Magny has been finished in 5 of his 7 UFC losses. So, I mean, what are they giving you for fight goes? Plus 155? I mean, it's a 12.4% edge over the divisional finish rate, which is 48.38%. We're only paying 39%, so that's pretty good. Or I'm sorry, the decision rate, which is 51.62%. It's a risky bet. I wouldn't make it, but if that's your read, I don't ever make reads based on what people say, though. I'll tell you that. I go by what they've actually done in the cage, and what Shavkat has done in the cage is finished dudes. My guy Narco Cop in the room. What's up, Mike? Good to see you in here. My man, Uncle Weezy. Hope all is going well, Narco Cop. Good to see you hanging out. Austin G saying that Rusty, that gas tank and wrestling point, why I think he tears his ass up in later rounds with the GMP. Could be. Guillaume Bear saying Tafan is an absolute unit. You got that right, man. And like, because of the way that Tafan is built, I really think he needs the pressure. He doesn't want to stay at distance with Carlos Ulberg. Let Carlos use that height, that leg reach that he's going to have over Tafan. I think Tafan needs to be walking that dude down, getting him on his back foot, because he's got a good chin, does Tafan. And when he's pressuring, he's taking away the best weapons of Ulberg, and he can, once he backs him up against the fence, then he can get in the clinch, and he can use that bricked up physique of his to kind of move Ulberg around, to make him carry his weight, to wear him out, to land some dirty boxing, maybe some trips that'll get you to some ground and pound and stuff. So yeah, I like Tafan here, man. John O saying, what do you think of Asu Almabayev, flyweight prospect? If you know who he is, he trains with Shavkat. So has this guy been fighting in UAE Warriors or Brave? I feel like I've seen this guy fight, and he's Kazakh, right? Or is he Uzbekistani? Let me look at the name. Asu Almabayev. 15-2 out of Kazakhstan. And his belts are in NFC, it looks like. Neza FC and Brave. He beat Imran Magamarov, Alexander Doskalchuk. Oh, he's been fighting. Oh, yeah, he got a win over a UFC veteran, Chris Koletis. And then, Fight Nights Global, M1. 5-1, 5-0, 14-4, 3-0. Yeah, it looks like this dude's for real. And I feel like I might have seen, this was in March of this year. I might have seen this Doskalchuk. I feel like Brave 53 was an event that I saw, and I might have seen him fight. But I mean, we'll probably be finding out from this guy soon enough. He's been fighting in the best Central Asian and North African organizations here, so we'll probably be seeing him soon. Mushroom saying to Narco Cop, MMA Lambo plays is fucking awesome. What's up, Narco? I echo those sentiments, absolutely. Prince of Mischief saying, I found a weird bet on DraftKings just now for the Manis Umar fight. Umar by sub is plus 100, but fight to end by sub is plus 105, and it covers both sides. Just putting that out there. Yeah. What happens, Prince of Mischief, is when a line gets steamed, sometimes the lines that aren't as popular, they just don't, they don't actually move with the lines that are actually getting steamed. So you can find some value like that out there. So it's always good to look at all the lines and compare them, because you might be able to find something that sticks out where you're getting an extra 5% or something like that, an extra nickel, and it matters in the long run. Rojuan Santiago with most uneven matchup. Nice parlay with Umar and Shav. I agree with you, Roshwan. Yeah, I mean, when I watched the tape on Yagos, he's beating really low-level UFC competition. And the best win on his record is Damir Hadzovic. And even in that fight, he lost the third round. It was basically gassed in the third round from wrestling in the first and the second. And then we can go and we can watch Thiago have a really great third round against Alexander Hernandez, who's a better fighter than Hadzovic. Have a really good third round against Bobby Green. Go out there and beat Michael Johnson, even though he got smoked in the first round of that fight. But he made an in-fight adjustment. He's like, man, I'm getting my ass kicked on the feet. So he went in for a takedown, got a leg lock, over like that. So, Moises has shown the ability to make some adjustments. I think he's beaten the much better brand of competition. And even if you want to say he didn't beat Bobby Green, and I agree with that, I think Bobby Green won that fight. Even if you want to say that, look, Christos Giagos is not going 3 rounds with Bobby Green. I can tell you that. Bobby Green will box that dude's face off in about a round and a half or 2 rounds. I'm very confident in Thiago Moises this week. I think he's a very safe bet. Gutierrez Q loss. Yeah, I mean, it was a good loss for Durden in his debut. Effie saying, how much of it all do you guys factor into the fighter's gym in your capping? In my opinion, Tiger Muay Thai fighters are very profitable. Yeah, it matters to me. I mean, it matters if you're training with good camps, but I think a lot of times people make the mistake of like, oh, this guy went from so-and-so and now he's at Sanford and he's been there for 6 weeks. We're going to see some improvements. It takes a while to improve. And sometimes when you go to some of these super gyms, these coaches, they don't even know who you are. If you go into Sanford on a given Wednesday, you're going to probably find 10 to 15 UFC fighters. I mean, how many good coaches are there that can give you one-on-one time and actually work with you? So it doesn't necessarily mean just because you're at one of these big gyms that, you're going to be getting coached up and be the focus there. So it's, like I say, the 2 most important things to look at when I'm breaking down a UFC fight are the statistics that have been compiled in the cage and watching their performance in the cage. Everything else is noise. I want to know when that cage door closes behind them, when the bright lights are on, when that man across from them is ready to fight, what happens then? I don't give a fuck who wins the stare downs. I don't give a fuck what they say in their interviews. I don't give a shit who they're dating. I don't give a fuck who they're friends with on Instagram and Twitter. Tell me what they've done in the cage. Tell me what I think that they're going to do in the future based on prior actionable information. So, training with good training partners and good coaches is important. So it's a part of it, but it's something that doesn't really guide my decisions. It won't change from fighter A to fighter B, By the way, Weezy, don't know if you have access to books with takedown props. I don't at the moment, but the odds are ridiculous. I'm guessing Arman to get +2+ takedowns will be close to plus money. Yeah, Gamrot has not been taken down at the UFC level, and neither has Tsarukyan by anybody not named Islam Makhachev. So very interesting stuff there. But yeah, those takedown props I think are super fun to play. Gutierrez lost to Barcelos, I believe. Did he fight Barcelos? I don't remember if he fought Barcelos or not. I mean, Barcelos has some wins against some low-level competition, some weird guys, and then he's shit the bed the last couple of times out. Mike Honcho saying, imagine putting your money on JP. Yeah, it's a closely lined fight, I don't know why people would say imagine putting your money on JP when it's, half the people are putting their money on JP. Like I said earlier, Mike, I think that the people who are putting their money on Cody are underestimating JP, and the people who are putting their money on JP are underestimating Cody. I think both of these guys aren't getting as much credit as they should be. I think they're both better than everybody thinks they are. Kevin, Magny is what Jing Liang was to Khamzat. Shav's real test comes next, higher up in the rankings. That will be his Khamzat Burns fight. Yeah, we'll see. You gotta respect Neil Magny. Dude, Neil Magny's the only guy who's calling for fights with Khamzat and Shavkat. You won't hear Hamzat or Shavkat. You won't hear that name coming out of any 170-pounder in the UFC. You just won't hear it. But Magny's saying that name. This guy's not afraid of anybody. Don't underestimate Neil Magny, please. Don't do that. I think the line is fair, but you got to remember, this guy Magny has fought everybody. He's not scared of anybody. This guy is a complete and total gamer. Hyena saying, don't fuck with guys who wear dead animals on their head. Respect Magny for taking this fight. Also, your early prediction for the future fight, Shavkat versus Hamzat. Wow. I would have to lean Hamzat just because of the wrestling, but Shavkat's submissions are ridiculous. Bob Spikerman is saying, I don't think Durden is good, brothers. I just have to fade JP Bays with like a fucking max bet, and just because it's JP. Everybody's proven me right that my analysis is right, that no matter what side you're on in that fight, you're just basically shorting the other side. And it just seems to be that way. Shavkat inside the distance minus 155, Weezy. DraftKings is the place of your guns to make that bet. Okay. Minus 155. God damn it, man. I hate that. It's so fucking wide for an inside the distance prop. Bob Spikerman saying Gamrot versus Kutateladze puts the pace after chewing up heavy body kicks. Yep, that's for sure. Bob agrees with Mike Concho. Charlie Green saying Demopoulos by lap dance submission. I don't know. I mean, she can get to, maybe one of those reverse triangles, maybe an arm bar, maybe a guillotine, maybe a rear naked choke. But, Vanessa's a very, very tricky grappler. And if she can get this fight to the ground, I think that she's going to be live to really make things unpleasant down there for Jinh Frey. But Jinh Frey showed very good takedown defense up to this point, and Demopoulos has no takedowns at the UFC level. So if it stays standing, I think that Jinh Frey should be able to use her length and her superior striking skills to win minutes and cruise to a decision. But if it goes to the ground, Vanessa is going to be very active and very live for a submission. And Bob saying he doesn't trust Moises. Yeah, I mean, he's easy not to trust, but I trust Giagos a lot less. Victor De Jesus saying, considering a max bet on Parisian to win by third-round reverse Peruvian necktie. So my question is, how many oranges would you put in that bag? Well, the thing is, like, you think like, oh, I want to put a lot of oranges, but you also have to have few enough oranges that the bag can be swung with speed, Victor, because we got to swing it with speed if we're going to juice those oranges and really get your insides, really get you bleeding internally, which is the point of an orange bag beating. Yeah, and you know what the thing is? I don't even think your book would probably call 1-800-GAMBLER on you, where they're like, we're really worried about Vic. He just tried to put a third-round reverse Peruvian necktie. The Peruvian necktie is hard enough to get at this level. You want to get a reverse Peruvian, and especially against somebody like Badeau, who's kind of got like a head like an Easter Island statue. I don't know, man. But yeah, it would probably have to be about 12 oranges so I could swing it with speed and really make that work, man. Bob's saying Moises never really does anything and just got smoked by the pressure of Joel Alvarez. Yes. And Christos Giagos, although he sucks, he's huge and training out of Sanford now. Yeah. Yeah, the pressure of Alvarez was a serious problem. And then for some reason, Thiago was afraid to take him down. I think Thiago just got caught with his pants down there. I don't think he expected Joel Alvarez's striking to be that good. I know I didn't. I'll tell you that right now. And Hyena saying, Asu Al-Mabayev, I'm a fan. I'm looking forward. I'm going to go watch some tape on that guy because you're saying he good. Moise Audio saying, Sora Rachmanova also legit. Shavkat's sister. Oh, no shit. I didn't know that. I didn't know he had a sister that was fighting. That's cool. Chris Lau saying, Weezy types like an uncle. I type like ass. He's so right. What are you fucking calling me out for, Chris? Come on, man. Effie saying, just drop my bong bowl stem. Oh, no. It didn't break. Did it, Effie? Please tell me it didn't break. Come on, man. Danny Sue saying, yeah, Alberg Tafan fight doesn't go to decision is 1.48, but fight ends in KO is plus 1.53. Yeah, I like that. An extra nickel. And yeah, I don't see either one of those guys getting a submission. I mean, you never know. I mean, it's an MMA fight, but that's a good way to get a little bit of extra value, in my opinion. Sana saying, wait, are American bookies giving worse odds, or am I converting it incorrectly? Shavkat by decision is 4. What would be that? I think 4 would be plus 300. I think that's plus 300, a 4 line, if I'm not mistaken, Sana. Hyena, yeah, plus 300. Okay, yeah, Hyena agrees. Okay, and let's see. Yep. And Effie's saying Armin's American gym is ATT, but so is Gamrot's. Oh, yeah. Armin did his camp at Syndicate with John Wood. He brought in wrestlers. Okay. I did not know that. That's good information there, Effie. I appreciate that. Daz Files saying hit the like. I appreciate you, Daz Files. Good to see you hanging out in here. Rusty saying I played Demopoulos money line for a big bet. Also a smaller bet by sub. And hedge with Fry by decision. I think that's a good play. So I played Demopoulos money line for a big bet. Also a smaller bet by sub and hedge with Fry. Yeah, Fry by decision it would be the hedge. I mean, what I did, Rusty, was I did that Vanessa Demopoulos finish only prop. Because that way, if it went to decision, it would just be a push. I don't think Jin Yu Fry has any finishing equity, especially over Vanessa Demopoulos. She's ridiculously durable. And so I don't see Jin Yu Fry finishing her, but if the fight goes to the ground, I think Vanessa's live for a sub. So if she gets that sub, I get 1.9 to 1. I've got 1 unit on it. And I think that there's very little chance that Vanessa gets finished. So that's the bet that I like the best for that fight. Prince of Mischief saying, oh my God, the chat has no love for JP. You don't have a lot of people don't have love for Cody either, man. Like I say, everybody hates one of these guys. The man's been cheated on and the fans don't believe he can win. Kick a man while he's down. Yeah, you got that right, dude. You know, I mean, one of these guys is gonna come out the other end with a win. Alex Ramirez, the general, taking notes. Kiarix saying, Weezy, it's crazy seeing these Bellator lines get steamed so hard. Fixed fights, dude. You know, I mean, I wouldn't know, but these things happen. You know, there's a lot of money at stake. You can pay people off. You can pay judges off. I mean, judges are getting paid off, I think. I mean, you don't really see any legitimate reason why somebody would score fights a certain way. And if the fight wasn't fixed and they weren't getting paid, you know, you would see judges getting fired, you know, so maybe they are, you know. Like, I wonder, you know, when a fight like Devontae Smith against Kama Worthy, right, where Devontae was minus 1,000 and Kama's sitting there at plus 650, right? And, you know, you got to wonder if Devontae, you know, and Kama would talk because they were former, you know, training partners. You could say to, shit, man, I put my fucking purse on you. Plus 650. Hit me in the chin once, man. I'll go down, you know, and you could take your, you know, your show check and multiply it by 6.5. You know, shit, you could multiply it by 10 if you bet inside the distance. So, I mean, you'd have to be very careful about it and it'd be a fucking scandal if it ever got out. But when, you know, you think when you present an opportunity like that, like people won't take advantage of it. And sometimes when you see those results where you're like, man, how the fuck did that happen? Maybe it was supposed to happen. There's no way that's an actual bet. Which bet? I'm not sure. Uncle Weezy, what's up, dude? We got the general. Mike Honcho saying TJ Brown versus Shayulan under 2.5 plus 190. Looking juicy, Mike Honcho. I agree with you. And the prop template agrees with you for that fight because what I know about Shayulan is that he's been finished in 8 of his 10 pro losses. Look at that. And then TJ Brown's been finished in 6 of his 8 pro losses. So 14 of their 18 combined losses, almost 78%, have been inside the distance. And at the UFC level, though, the problem is that only 2 of their 7 fights have finished inside the distance. But if we're believers in regression, that's going to come back. 43% of these fights at 145 finish inside the distance. The fight doesn't go sitting at 40%. The under 2.5 at plus 190 is a 34.5% implied probability. You're getting a 3.6% edge on the under 2.5 rate, which is actually 38.07. So we're paying 3.58% less than that at 34.48%. And I think it's a pretty good line. I think TJ Brown is very live for a submission here or a knockout because he's a far superior striker. So I agree with you there, Mike. I think it's a great look. Effie's saying that shit broke in a million pieces, but we have a backup. That's right. And we've got, well, you know, as long as you got that backup, that's the important thing, you know, because then that means that you're prepared. These party fouls, they happen, Effie, but, you know, at least you're organized enough in order to get that backup piece out and we can keep smoking. And we got Bob Spikerman saying, rolling up some LA Kush cake. Very nice, Bob. Enjoy. Danny saying, don't fade bad fighters with bad fighters. Hate everybody equally. Thank you, Danny. That's wise words. We can't get too carried away fighting, you know, fading the fighter that's a 2 out of 10 with the fighter that's a 3.5 out of 10. It's an excellent point. Wayne saying, I like Gamrot, Weezy. Make a case for Gamrot, please, so I can feel better. Okay, I'll make that case for Gamrot. So let's zoom in on the numbers. Size-wise, Gamrot 3 inches taller. Tsarukyan, though, is 6 inches younger and has a 2-inch reach advantage, but Gamrot's a southpaw. We like the fact that southpaws are a little more difficult to deal with, and on the aggregate, the southpaw beats the orthodox fighter over 55% of the time, so that's statistically significant. Mateusz Gamrot, 2 more professional fights, about twice as much cage time, and about 3.5 more years as a pro. Both of these guys are good finishers. Tsarukyan a little bit better of a finish rate, but Gamrot has never been finished, while Tsarukyan has been finished. And we can make an argument that Gamrot is undefeated in his career, while Tsarukyan has actually been finished once and lost another one to Islam Makhachev. If we look at the striking stats, both of these guys have really nice ratios. Lands 3.79, absorbs only 2.69. Excellent 65% striking defense, and he's showing a better knockdowns per 15 minutes and a better knockdowns per total significant strikes landed. So a little bit better offensive power, a little bit better defensive responsibility. So we like Gamrot's ability to hang on the feet, and both of these guys are very accurate with their takedowns. Gamrot actually averaging more takedowns per 15 minutes. And he's got 100% takedown defense, this Gamrot. And he's only allowed less than 0.25% control time over a 4-fight UFC sample size. So just because Tsarukyan's an excellent control grappler, it doesn't mean he's going to be able to control Gamrot. So when you look at all these stats, right, you're looking at a fighter that's 75, 80% implied probability to win in Tsarukyan. But when you look at the numbers, Wayne, it's a lot closer than that. They are both very good grapplers. They're both very talented strikers. They're both young. It's just Tsarukyan's a lot younger. They both have more than 20 professional fights and a good amount of experience at the UFC level fighting solid competition. I just see some edges for Tsarukyan with the length, the youth, and the ability to be able to win control time positions at a higher rate. But other than that, everything else is very close. So that would be my case, Wayne, for Mateusz Gamrot. At the line, I think he's a very good play. Bob saying, I bet Joe Alvarez versus Thiago Moises, and on the same day, I bet Rafael Alves versus Diakese. Both fights at insane odds, man. I was on Diakese and Moises that day, Bob. So I know exactly how you felt because it was the opposite of how I felt. I was fucking shell-shocked that day seeing Moises just get dismantled by Alvarez, by seeing Diakese get finished in the first round by Alves. I mean, it was just, wow, what an amazing day that had to be for you. Also at Holloway, Song Yadong, and Da Un-jung. Yeah, Da Un-jung disposed of Kennedy and Cheku that day in about 30 seconds. You on Gamrot? No, I'm on Tsarukyan here to win. I think the Tsarukyan might even get a late finish, but I am on Tsarukyan, but I don't think I'm betting it because it's just too wide of a line. Interested in my thoughts, Weezy says, Rusty, I think Apex fights go to decision a lot. Yeah, I don't have numbers on that. I could get it if I could just find out what dates we're at the Apex. I can go to my fights database because I've got it all sorted by weight class, but I also have just all the fights by year here. So I could just go, they're all organized by dates. So I could just go for all, like, 12-18 was at the Apex, highlight all of those. 12-11 was, highlight all of those. And then just find the dates where they were at the Apex, and then find the finish rates within each division at the Apex. And then we could just take that number out of the whole and then find out how it relates to the whole number. But I haven't done that data yet, and that would probably be a fairly large project because I'd have to go back and find all the events that were at the Apex. But I don't have any statistical evidence to suggest one way or another that they finish more or they finish less. Can we permaban people rooting for Gamrot? No, we cannot. Absolutely not. Mateus Gamrot's an excellent fighter. Rusty Tenekun saying, why do we see so much of a Sal D'Amato in the game? Yeah, it would make sense if they're going to decision. You're going to want fixed. You're going to want corrupt judges so that you can pay them off and make money on the betting markets. HD Tube said Bellator just set up their comers against some really shit local fighters from wherever the event is happening. Yeah, I know that they do that. I know when they go to Israel, they will set up those Israeli fighters with guys that probably have less of a skill set than I do. I know that Bellator has been pushing those Israeli fighters, trying to make people give a shit about them. And it's fucking pathetic. It's just pathetic. But we see them doing it all the time, and it doesn't matter where you're from. If you're an organization like Bellator and you're putting on events in these countries and you're trying to build a fan base there, you want to make it look like their fighters are these world beaters that are just shaving ass. It would make sense that they would set up some of these fighters with the ability to be able to do that. Victor saying Alex Pereira has a sister that fights too. I forgot her name, but she's a damn savage too, knocking girls out cold. I've seen like 2 of her fights on YouTube. These fighting families, Vic, that's what happens. It's like when you got an older brother or sister that's like kicking ass for a living, like these, like the wrestling families, it's always the youngest. The youngest kid, it winds up shaving everybody's ass because he's getting his ass kicked by 8 older brothers every day. They get out there on the mat against somebody their own size and they want to fucking murder them. Dirty Sal and the boys, says Luke. You got that right. MMA Bet Sharp saying, hey, what's up, everybody hanging out? What's up, MMA Bet Sharp? Thanks for hanging out with us here. Oh, my God. Might bet Gamrot 4-5 decision, so covered. Okay. And let's see. Danny Sue saying, can we pay off judges to call in a sickie? I don't know, man. The reverse Peruvian bet on bet. MMA Bet Sharp saying TJ Brown has a significant reach advantage. Hoping he can do what Kulabau did. Yeah, he should be able to. Tsarukyan can't push that pace for a full 3 rounds anyway, so I think it's just a matter of time before TJ, separates, lands shots, and I don't think he has to win a lot of minutes to win the fight because Tsarukyan's not going to do anything but just hang on him. Andrew Delamino saying, hey, Weezy, needs your best bet lock. I got fight does not start round 3 and Curtis Rodolfo. What do you think? I love it. I love that bet. I mean, I know it's juiced to the tits, Andrew, but it's really hard to see that fight going past 10 minutes. If Rodolfo doesn't sell out for that wrestling and grappling early, he's going to get knocked out. Chris Curtis is just too smooth on the feet. And if he does get the fight to the ground, we know that Vieira being that natural middleweight, he's going to be much bigger than Chris. And he's not going to, Chris isn't going to be used to feeling that kind of top pressure, that kind of elite Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion, top pressure that he's going to feel from Rodolfo Vieira. So, either way, that's why the books have got it so juiced. I mean, you got to believe that they know something too, because you usually don't ever see Bet Online opening a fight doesn't go worse than -400. They open this shit at -675. So they have information to suggest that this is either Rodolfo is going to go out there and get this finish early, or that he's going to quit the second he realizes he can't. So, yeah, Andrew, I think that's a great look. It'd probably be one of my favorite bets on the entire card. Gamrot not training on a bicycle. Okay. Brian, he's got the eyes, he's got the notes, he's got the fire. What's up, Brian? Good to see you in here. Gamrot has been 5 rounds before. You got that right. And Mushroom saying probability is on tonight. Probability is fucking awesome. Yes, it is. It is going to be on in about 12 plus 7 is 19. And then it'll be 18. Yeah, 19 hours from now. So, yeah, can't wait, man. Bob saying Gamrot plus 250 make you feel better. I'm sure you can bet him during the walkout for plus 300. No, that's true. I think that money still might come in on Tsarukyan. Call me crazy. I think Tsarukyan's wrestling breaks Gamrot. Different levels. We're going to find out. Austin. HD Tube, tonight, Mushroom, or tomorrow? He means tonight because Mushroom's in Philly. So right now it's 1 a.m. for him on Thursday. So he means tonight, Thursday night. So it's actually like tomorrow. But yeah, HD Tube, we're going to be doing it in about 18 hours from now. MMA Bet Sharp saying Gamrot hasn't shown nearly the same level of wrestling as Arman. And let's see here. Yeah, so we've got Mushroom saying, 1 a.m. exactly. Bellator's Magomedov at -160 is a steal. I'll take your word for it, man. Anybody with the name Magomedov can probably wrestle. Thomas Kane saying Chris Curtis fight goes the distance. Logic says no, but 5-1, got to make that bet. Yeah, I mean, I hear you, man. Look, it's a 185-pound fight. 185-pound fights in the UFC go to decision 44% of the time. At 5-1, you're saying it goes to decision 16% of the time. So, I mean, that's, it's a 26% edge you're getting over the benchmark for the division. And, I mean, do I think it goes all 3 rounds? No. But do I think that the line is way, way, way overpriced? Yes, absolutely. And when it's overpriced, sometimes you just got to be willing to take a shot on the other side. Bob saying, Song Yadong, also head kick KO versus Arce. Damn, what a day. Oh, wow. Cash the Chaos and Baeza over 1.5 that day. Yeah, dude, that was a fucking war, that fight. An awesome fight. Paul Wesley saying, I'll compile a list of Apex events at the last couple of years per Wikipedia. That's where, Paul, that's where I actually I did my, I cut and paste from Wikipedia for my fights database. I got it all the way back to 2013. So I've got all those fights. So I would just have to separate out the Apex data. And if I did it by weight class, I could just subtract that data out from the other 3-round data that I have for each weight class. And then I would have Apex, and then I would have non-Apex fights. So we could find 35-foot cage and 30-foot cage, or whether it's 25 and 35, 25, 30, 25, I forget, whatever it is. We could separate that out, and it would be interesting to look at. As soon as Julian Marquez arrived with Miley Cyrus walkout song, I knew right away I fucked that bet last week. Yeah, dude, I got served too. I had the Marquez finish only prop because the guy's been crazy durable in his career, almost impossible to finish, and then he gets finished in the first round. A lot of firsts on Saturday cost me a lot of money. Bob Spikerman saying Chris Lee gave Josh Emmett round 4. That's why Katera lost and me losing my. Yeah, that was. It's total bullshit. We got Prince saying, for anyone wondering, a same game parlay for Curtis under 2.5 is plus 105. Rodolfo under 2.5 plus 155. Not bad. Robert saying Tsarukyan had a hard time wrestling OAM. Yeah. OAM's a fucking good grappler. Yeah. But, you got to remember, dude, Tsarukyan was 21 years old when that fight happened. 21. And he was fighting a guy in OAM who had already had like 7 or 8 UFC fights at that point. So, there's levels to this thing. And, and while he's fighting OAM, Mateus Gamrot is fighting, like washed up UFC guys like Norman Park. And, he's not fighting these guys in KSW that are any better than the guys that, he's fighting Islam Makhachev when he's 21. He's fighting OAM when he's 21, 22 years old. This guy made his debut at 19. Tsarukyan's got, the arrow is pointing up. So you're saying he's overrated. Well, if you're right, Robert, then I think we're going to see him lose. If he is being overrated right now, I don't think he's overrated. I think this guy is on another level. But we're going to find out, because Mateus Gamrot is an extremely stiff test, a mixed martial artist who's great everywhere. Effie's saying, Magomed, dude has the same name twice. Take my money. Yeah, that's one of the most popular names in the entire world, Magomedov, evidently. Robert saying, definitely worth a bet on Gamrot at this wide of a gap. I'm not going to argue with you there, dude. You're never going to you're not going to get Mateus Gamrot at plus 240, probably ever again. HD Tube saying 25 and 40. Bob saying, about Pereira's sister, my girlfriend is Brazilian, so I know some, and there are a lot of different mixed races in Brazil. And the Pereira race is just mad toughest people. Davison, Trinaldo, Joe Anderson. Okay, yeah, those guys. You got Massaranduba, you got Joe Anderson, Brito, Davison, Figueiredo, Deuce de Guerra. Effie's saying, does the smaller cage this week help Neal or Shavkat more? I would say it helps Shavkat more. Feel like Neal wants this along in the cage, in the clinch, like he always does, right? Potentially. He might, they might. I could see it helping both of them, but I could see Magny winning minutes on the feet at striking range against Shavkat. It's not like Shavkat's like this great striker. What Shavkat does is win moments. So. But he's very low volume. You watch his fights, he's not just letting his hands go. But also less space to avoid getting bodied by Rockmount. Exactly. That was my first thought. And then Bob saying, you can literally see the people are mad tough just from looking at their fighters' faces. These are the toughest motherfuckers on the planet, you guys. I hear you, man. If Magny gets out of round one, I think fights goes the distance. It might. Gamrot via sub plus 1,200 sounds juicy. That does sound juicy. Rochuan saying safest for main event over 2.5 rounds. I think so. Chris Lee and Sal D'Amato will fuck your bets in parlays. No lube, no spit. You got that right. Any take on the Parisian versus Badeau fight? Seems like most cappers are taking Badeau here. I'm not betting the fight, but I think Badeau is probably the smoother, more accurate, better striker. But it's kind of low level, and to be honest with you, I just didn't watch any tape. I'm just going off of what I remember from these guys. I've bet on Parisian before. I bet on Parisian versus Roque Martinez, and I was basically tearing that ticket up as the decision was being read because I was sure the Parisian had lost. Parisian got credit for the win there. So, yeah, I'm just not sold on Parisian at all. I've seen situations where I thought he was the better fighter, and he proved me wrong. So, and then Badeau, the same thing, where against Parker Porter, he looked a lot better than I thought he would. So I'm leaning Badeau, but I'm not betting that fight. And Robert Sella, he is mad hype for beating Joel Alvarez, who is pretty trash. However, Alvarez was hype at that time for beating Thiago Moises, who is also pretty trash. I think that's a good way of putting it, Bob. But yeah, you guys, I think I'm going to get going right now. It's after midnight here. I appreciate talking with you guys. Thank you guys for the donations. Thank you guys for your attention. I see that there are 66 of you guys hanging out in here after midnight on a Thursday. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys. Check me out tomorrow night on the MMA Engine YouTube channel, 7:15 Central Time. We're going to go through the prop template here for all 12 fights and find the fights that we think are going to finish inside the distance. Find the best bets, find the bets that have been underpriced so that we can find the ones that we lean, but then we might have 5 leans, but I think we'll find that 2 or 3 of those leans are priced much better than the other ones. And that's what the point of the show is, to find the bets that not only match up with our leans, but also where we're getting a little bit of an advantage based on the data that we have available to us here against the books. So I'm going to get going. Thank you guys for hanging out on a Thursday night with me, your host, Uncle Weezy, here on Ask Weezy. And I'll check you out tomorrow night on the MMA Engine YouTube channel for probability. And then the only thing we have to do after that is stack cash tickets like flapjacks for UFC Vegas 57, and also be on the lookout over the next 24 hours for just a short video on my channel where I'll be breaking down what my greasy leg 4-leg parlay will be for this week. Good night, everybody. We'll see you soon.